So let's take a look how we can build actually a table, and that is made out of one sheet of bent plywood. So that means that the legs actually are fused into the tabletop. So I'm going to a right view. Everything is set to centimeters. Create myself a new sketch here. And I would like to have a distance of 40. So here's 40, and where's 80? There's 80. Perfect. So this one, we make a construction and we dimension it. Perfect. So our table is 78 high. So maybe I'm going to create myself another line somewhere here. Let's dimension this one. So it's kind of like 60. Let's make this one 70. Okay. And let's make another line in between. Not so tall, maybe a meter. That's good. We'll make this a construction, and we make this a fixed line because I would like this line's midpoint to be sliding along this line. So go to constraint, midpoint, this line onto that one. Perfect. So now it got moved over. And then I can select these two lines and add a distance dimension. And here we have, let's say, 78. There. So here you see again I used the midpoint to make this line's midpoint centered on this line. So if I change this one, this line always changes its position or its size while being always centered, positioned onto here. So that's pretty nice. Okay. Now let's actually put a line up, maybe to there. So this is 70. I don't really want this one. Another one up there. And maybe these legs should have a really small, tiny angle. So select these two lines, make a rotation degree 89, so we move it in 1 degree. So you see that's basically the reason how you then can rotate your sketch. There. Okay. I can actually create my... Oh, shoot. The interface is sometimes a little bit tricky, so click, click, and again, there, click and drag it out. Let's say 70, and let's do this one more time. There, click and drag. Oops. And 70. Perfect. Okay, so you see now if we make this one maybe to 80, it moves it up. 78, 65, 70, 88, 92. This is actually a really nice system when you are dealing with two-dimensional profiles. Then we can create another transition. So click and drag, click and drag. Here again, click and drag, click and drag. There. And maybe I don't really like this size, so 75. Let's take a look how that arc looks. A little bit better, not really the way how I want. So maybe this base I make wider. Whoa, not good. So here again, I need to make a midpoint of this line to this line. Sketch geometry is over constraint. Okay, maybe this one I have to remove. Let's try this again. This one to here. No. Okay, one more time. Shoot, unfortunately it doesn't work. Okay, I might have to do it then differently. So let's say we make this one 90. So here's my midpoint. Draw this line out. And then actually I go to move, select this line and say point this one to there. Zip. Oops. Of course, don't press escape. There. Okay. So that obviously worked well. Okay, and if we don't really need it anymore, the stuff we can delete. Of course, that means if we later go back, we would have to adjust it again. Okay, but the main point was now up here maybe I can have a little bit more of play this way. So that's not too bad. Now this actually bugs me that I can't really set this one the way how I want. So, you know, these parts I'm going to delete for the moment. This one I keep. And I'm going to create myself another line here in between from there to there. And then say, do we have any constraints? Not anymore. Okay, and midpoint this one to that one. Whoa, where did it go to? I moved it up there. Interesting. No, that's not really what I wanted. So maybe let's move it away. And one more time and say this one to there. Okay, that works. So those 2 points, 60, 80, yeah, that works. So you see, redrawing the piece a little bit actually did help. So that's good. Okay, because now I might unfortunately have to redraw these lines. I know that's not really very interesting. The constraints here for the tangents here are gone, not a big deal. Tangent, this one to the line, this arc to the line, perfect. And then let's drag out our distance part. Nope. There. And 70. And I just would like to give this one 89. And this one 89. 75. 75. Okay. So this last line here, because this is all filled, I don't want, so I'm simply could make this one a construction line for the moment. There. Perfect. Okay. So, what can we do now with this part? Well, it is built along the center. My table should be 150. So I could go to Patch, Extrude, this profile, both directions, 75, 150 centimeters at the same time. And I would like to give this one a thickness here right now. So I could go to thicken this one -2 centimeters to the inside. Let's see if this actually will work. Yeah, this should be Ben plywood. This would be maybe an issue. So maybe -3. Yeah, Ben plywood will complain there a lot. So I guess I would have to make this radius bigger. So here another nice thing of our sketch engine, edit. Maybe those I push back to 70 and 70 and make this one 65. So we see I have a bigger radius. But then this one feels like it's collapsing too much. So let's go back to edit. And what we have to do here is maybe try to see if we put this one 75, too much, 72. Yeah, that actually gets to somewhere. So I'm just trying to see if I can already get a nice somehow arc, and then I can select those handles, dimension them, maybe 3. Click this blend curve, the handle. Okay, it doesn't want to do it. Oh, there. And 3. Let's do the same here. You see, you can just click dimension and then those handles will actually be visible as well. There, and 3. Okay, stop sketch, show dimension, and for example from this view now we can fine-tune everything. So maybe 2 actually works quite okay for there. Yeah, so with the rest, this lower part isn't trimmed yet. I don't really pay attention to that right now because honestly at one point we have to sand it once we build it, so we overbuild anyway, and then the final piece has the stuff trimmed. So we're actually going to build it in the moment the way how we would have our raw material. Okay, now we have the solid part. Let's take a look at how we can make a nice cutout. So for example that the legs are away and we can sit in it. So I create myself a new sketch, one here. And I'm only going to put in a sketch maybe on one side where I need it. So maybe here, there, 2 cubes for the grid, and there. Escape. Let's hide the bodies for the moment. Let's make another line there. The first sketch I would like to hide. This one I fix, and I also set to construction. Midpoint this one to this line. Perfect. And if I want, I could give this whole piece a dimension. And I could say from this point to this endpoint, what's the distance there? And here maybe those are delete. I could, for example, if I'm interested, plug in the degrees. If, for example, I would like at one point to be able to rotate those lines. Otherwise, you don't need to do that, of course. Okay, perfect. Stop sketch. And show me the dimension. So what can we do with this piece now? We could, for example, split this body with the sketch here I created. And then simply delete this part. And there you can see now how actually we have this one part cut out. Pretty nice. Can actually round this corner here a little bit. It's pretty sharp. So you see, you don't have to do it in the sketch. You can do that even in the solid model. Pretty nice. But maybe at the same time, we would like the other side to cut out. Let's see actually if we can mirror a feature. So here we have a feature. This one, I don't think, yeah, it just mirrors over that part, just the face, but it doesn't really cut it out. So, okay, this doesn't work that way. And I don't really like this double work, so this part I delete. And let's see what I'm going to do next. So I go back to the sketch, edit, and I'm simply adding another line. So this is now full, as you can see. And this one maybe I put to there. Whoa. So I exited the sketch mode. That's not what I wanted. Here, there. And then I can mirror all these lines over to this line there. Stop. And then actually simply extrude those two up and cut at the same time out of my part. And what's happening there? Oh, okay, yeah, it makes sense, because that's a small slim part on the bottom. So what we might have to do here is we do this symmetrically each side. So it cuts to the top and the foot area. And there it is. Now we could touch up those lines. So maybe centimeter. Let's see. What about 2? Does it work? Yeah, 2 works. Okay. And with all this done, then we can go and select everything besides those lines down here. Those I don't want. And there. And maybe we just break it. 2.5 millimeters. So it's not razor sharp. And the last step then basically would be to clean up the lower part. We can do that with a trim function. We can actually also do similar trick or something related. We're creating ourselves a nice big rectangle on the ground plane. and then we just extrude it down and say cut, and it will clean up this part for us. Perfect. And there's kind of like the table with a bent plywood leg directly attached to it.